Well, good evening, and welcome back to the FLC studios. We're in the third of our series. This week, we have the honor of Thomas being with us. Thomas, are you going to come forward?
I doubt it.
Oh, well, okay. Well, come on forward anyway. Please be seated. I have a few questions for you tonight, and this is kind of an informal conversation that we have, and we've got an audience here tonight that will listen intently. We've had Nicodemus and John, and now you, and it's been an interesting series, an interesting walk as we move towards Lent, through Lent towards Easter. So, one of the things, I guess, as I was thinking about this, I know you were called Didymus, and where'd that come from? What does it mean?
Well, in Aramaic, Didymus means twin. So somewhere I have a twin. Although he's not mentioned much in the Bible, I don't know if I have a brother or if I have a sister. But Didymus means twin.
Twin. Interesting. So, how did you know Jesus was the Messiah? There's a question about that, so.
Well, when he asked us to follow him, give up everything we had and follow him, and we did. And as time went on, he would heal people. He made the lame walk. He healed the lepers. He even made the blind where they could see. And then, of course, he raised Lazarus from the dead. So, that's not an ordinary man. He's got to be the Messiah we've all heard about.
Well, in fact, there was a story about the 5,000 that were fed.
Holy smokes, yeah. Back then, I guess you would have called that a concert or something, but, 5,000 plus people could hear him, and he had no microphone like they do now. And as he was nearing the end of everything he was teaching, we all came and said, Jesus said, it's dark, getting dark. People are not going to make it back to town. The stores are going to be closed. Most of them didn't plan on you talking forever, and so they're not going to have anything to eat. Just look through the crowd, see who's got something to eat. And they found a young man that had packed his lunch. His mama had packed his lunch. A couple of fish, some bread. He said, bring it to me. So he said a blessing over it and told us to feed everybody. And although we fed everybody, we even had leftovers.
No one went hungry.
Nobody went hungry.
Wow. So what a miracle.
Yes. I don't think a mortal man could do that.
Now, when that finally ended, though, you all decided to cross the bay, I guess.
We decided to take the boat across the bay. Jesus said he wanted to ride. He kind of needed to get away from the people and rest. He was tired.
Were you sleeping?
No, heck no. I was trying to keep water bailed out of the boat. The wind picked up, the waves just lapping over the side.
But what about Jesus? Was he open to that?
No, he was up front sleeping. He had his head on a cushion and he was sound asleep. The rest of us were running around frantically trying to keep the water out of the boat, hope it didn't tip over. And finally we decided, we better wake him. Teacher, you got to help us. Do you not worry that we're going to be swamped and drowned out here? Well, he gave us one of his usual looks, and he stood up and he said, quiet, be still. The wind and the waves quit. It got as calm as it could be. So then we really got big-eyed and scared, and who could talk to the wind and the waves and calm them like that but a Messiah? So we had safe travel after that.
So, but you still weren't quite sure, right?
No, it wasn't 100%,
But you're beginning to lean that way.
Yes.
I suspect. You're beginning to see some things.
Yeah.
Well, the night before Jesus died, he was sharing a lot of things to prepare for his departure. Did you have any idea what was to come?
Not really. He kept talking about going to his father's house and making us a place to stay, and that when it was our time, he would come get us and bring us. And I finally just asked him, I said, well, how are we going to know? We don't know your father, so we don't know where he lives. And what he said was so profound that, here, I even scribed it down so I make sure I tell it to you right. But he said, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you really know me, you know my Father as well. From now on, you do know him and have seen him.
Profound words.
Yes. So we were, that was a little different. But,
So what did the death of Jesus mean for you?
Just like all the rest of us, it just tears your heart out when you lose somebody that you really respect. We lost a good friend, a confidant, a teacher, and we thought he was the Messiah. And the Messiah can't die. He just can't. So we were all just devastated. We didn't know exactly what to do. So it was a pretty rough time.
Obviously, Easter changed all that. Is that not true?
It did. I missed it when Jesus came the first time. And they were the rest of them were telling me about he had risen and, he was here with us and all of the, all the goings on. And I didn't believe it.
What did they call you, though?
Well, because I had doubt, they called me Doubting Thomas. And it kind of just hung. So, just one of those nicknames I could never get rid of.
Well, I guess there was a time then, though, that you were with Jesus. Tell us about that. I mean, this is when all of a sudden, even though the nickname Doubting stuck with you, what happened?
Well, he heard about me being doubting, that he actually raised from the dead and came back. So he appeared to us. We were in a locked room. He walked through the door. And he called me by name.
No, wait a minute, you said he walked through the door.
Yes, he didn't open the door. It was locked.
Oh, okay.
So he just walked through the door. And there he was. We were all in amazement. And he said, Thomas, since you have doubts, come. Touch me. See that I'm here. Feel my wounds. Well, me, this is somebody else. So I go up and I feel his hands. I feel the holes in his hands. And he said, here, stick your hands in my side. And when I did that is when I absolutely knew he had to be the Messiah and that he was sent here to save us.
Well, then, that you finally recognized that he was the Messiah. The doubts were gone.
Yes.
And you were a true believer.
Yes.
So Jesus did die for all of our sins.
Yes, he died for our sins and he raised, and we just need to listen to him.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Doubt it.
Why did that surprise you? Well, listen, we want to thank you for taking time to be here. I know you've got a long journey back, so safe travels. We know you're in good hands, obviously.
Yes.
So thank you again, and I would say to the audience, come back next week. We will have another interview yet to continue the series. And again, Thomas, thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm glad to tell my story.